3 random words, 2 additional challenges equal 1 movie pitch. This is Scripty Business. We take on random words and challenges to make the best movie possible. We get 5 minutes with 3 random words to come up with a rough movie idea. Then we spin our Wheel of Doom to throw a curveball into the mix. After 20 minutes with this added challenge, we spin the wheel for another prompt for an extra 20 minutes. After the time is up, one of us has to summarize what the hell this movie is and deliver it to you in just 5 minutes. It's chaos. It's risky. It is Scripty Business.
I read this great book about the designer of this film. Incredible. He's so good. He does like this really like realistic, like he was really obsessed with like physics and stuff. And so he does like these kind of like realistic extrapolations of what the future might have looked like for someone with 80s technology. Really cool. There were other famous designers on this film that kind of get more credit, but I think this guy's way cooler. And the director comes in and goes, I like this. This is really cool, but I want to see like space barnacles on the outside of the ship and some space seaweed floating by. And this is like a serious horror movie. And the designer's like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And he's like, no, I'm asking you. He's like, I don't care. There's no physical way that space seaweed and space barnacles could exist. And he's like, yeah, I don't care about that. And he's like, I do. I'm not doing it. And he just stood by his guns. And honestly, it made the film, because if space barnacles were in this film, it would have been horrible. No one would have remembered it. Instead, it was an absolutely seminal sci-fi horror.
Look, I've got to say, that series kicked off when The Predator came along. And let's get on with the show for another episode.
You.
I knew you were going that path within like 30 seconds.
Everybody's allowed to be
it's
wrong. It is another week.
Yeah,
it is my week
it's
this
another
week,
week.
ladies and gentlemen, which means I get to sit in the seat and you get to spin the wheel. So take us on the journey. Give us 3 words. I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's do it. The first 3 words we have are sun, small, and quagmire.
Okay. Which sun?
Do you need the definition of quagmire?
No, I know what a quagmire is, but I need to know what kind of sun we're dealing with.
The star at the center of the solar system. S-U-N.
Okay.
Sun. S-U-N.
We're really
Small
on a sci-fi
sun
binge.
quagmire. Sun, small quagmire.
Yeah, that's
we
perfect.
are.
I love it. No, it's...
Does it have to be, though?
Well, it involves the
have to
sun,
be
so it
sci-fi?
has to involve some kind of space element. Even if we're on the planet and it's like an apocalypse, the sun is set in space. It's going to have a sci-fi element. Although it doesn't. You know what? I'm with you, Welsh. Let's go Eldritch Horror.
Okay, talk to me. I
Okay.
know Cthulhu,
Yeah.
and that's about
Okay,
as far
here's
as
where
Eldritch
I'm at.
Horror
I've got
goes for
2
me.
ideas for you that we can tease
Let's hear
out.
it.
One, the sun in itself is an Eldritch Horror and it wakes up. That's idea number 1. I don't know what effect that
Okay.
has, but that I always really love the idea of like, you know, things like in Dead Space and stuff where you have like the planet itself is an Eldritch Horror. Or like Darkest Dungeon, for example, the entire planet is an Eldritch Horror and it's like waking up, it's going to hatch. What if the sun was? What does that mean for us? Or the second idea is some kind of sun cult ritual that leads to some kind of Eldritch Horror shenanigans.
Now, for the record for listeners, we have started the 5-minute timer, by the way. That is all we have to come up with the broad strokes of the movie. There's 3.5 minutes left. I actually went super more grounded than that.
Hell yeah.
I was thinking, what if the sun started shrinking? So the sun starts reducing in size. I'm pretty sure that's when it becomes a dwarf star and all that. That's the natural life
Yeah.
cycle of a star as it comes in on itself, and what that means for the population of Earth. So perhaps instead of being super sci-fi, we get like real gritty drama with this, and it's like the world is ending. What does that do to, say, a friendship group or a family situation?
Melancholia.
And how that gets like, you know, thrown off the rails, and people want to live their life, people want to be together, and it causes a quagmire for the main cast. But we could go
emotional
super
quagmire.
non-sci-fi with this. Emotional quagmire. We've got a super sci-fi list of words here, and the first thing I went is not sci-fi. Just sun's getting small, yo. What does
Sun's
that mean?
getting real low.
For people? Sun's getting real small. I don't know. There's 2 options there. I also like the Cthulhian horror sort of
It kind of
stuff.
reminds me of I can't remember who the actors were, but there was a movie where the world was
Right.
ending, and they it was a rom-com. I think they were neighbors, and they kind of like started this burgeoning romance at the end of the world.
It's not the end of the fucking world, is it? That like this bit of a driving trip in it as well.
Maybe
They're,
that's
like,
it.
driving
Maybe
around.
that's the one that I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's a Netflix thing.
Yeah,
I've heard of
something
this.
like that.
Yeah, never watched it, but familiar with the concept. So potentially that's where we go with this. It's been done before. Like everything we ever come up with, there's a little element of
That's the
maybe this has
nature of
come to our
making
brain
art.
from-
How dare you?
Okay, and there's a wizard, a boy wizard, and he has a scar on his head.
But he has
as
to
well.
take his family ring to the local
big
mountain.
volcano. The local mountain. That'd be a quick fucking movie compared to what
The Wizarding World, man. He
did.
could get teleported to the other side of the universe.
Oh yes, the Flu Network, which you don't even know what that is. I love it. Okay, we got a minute to decide which path we're taking with this one. Are we going Cthulhu or are we going gritty drama because the world is going to end at some stage? Because that's the other interesting thing. The sun's getting smaller. The sun is small compared to what it was. Do they actually have a time frame on what that's going to do? I'm backing out of this now because I've just realized I don't know the physics behind what would happen if the sun started to shrink and what that would do to our planet. I feel like that's too complicated for us without Googling.
Yeah, you would
frantically.
change it
Cthulhu.
more to like the sun's going to implode, or it's more like if you've seen Sunshine, it's like the sun is about to reach a critical point, and everything beyond this is the point of no return. It's the climate debate, right? You know, like once we hit the point of no return, it doesn't matter how much effort we put in, everybody dies. So it's like it's not that you're gonna die immediately. It's just that, you know, if you have children or you do anything, they're all going to like inevitably die in a really horrible way.
You know what? We can just like wash over the physics with this and say the density of the sun remains the same as it shrinks, so it doesn't cause any difference to the status quo of the planet. Just the fact that
Why
everyone's
not
going
just
to die
say
at
like
some stage.
the sun is dying, and then you don't have to describe.
Let's do
how.
that. Let's do that. The timer has expired, so I
son
guess
of a
that's what
gun.
we're doing now. You're welcome. I'm gonna hit off our Wheel of Doom for a
Oh no, it's
prompt.
about the family and the friendships. Okay, yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
drama.
it can be whatever you want. I think we just decided on the broad strokes. This
Sure.
is the sun is shrinking. What does that do to someone? 20 minutes on the clock, and we have to make this shit balls a rom-com.
Well, it's already
we have
there.
to
We're
make it
already
a
there.
rom-com
We're already
now.
there. It's already there.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I
kind of don't like that, but okay.
that it's a rom-com.
Yeah, I feel like we've been strong-armed into one of our options now.
Incredible.
It's like,
That's
wanted
what the Wheel of
flexibility.
Doom's job is, my friend.
know,
Okay.
I know.
Okay. Here we go.
20 minutes
Right.
to make this a rom-com.
The sun is dying.
Well, yep, same as it is right now.
I don't know if
I thought you froze then.
No, I was thinking. Even thought, because I wanted to commit a podcast crime, and say that the sun is dying, and as it kind of, you know, reaches this point of no return, it does give birth to an eldritch horror, which is slowly floating towards Earth, and that's the doomsday.
So we're
event.
combining.
We're combining both of them,
I love this. We're taking both the
Yeah,
ideas
yeah.
from the initial 5.
and
Excellent.
it's slowly
No
floating towards
problems.
the planet. So let's say, I don't know, 5 years. We know, and there's like, this thing's big, like asteroid size. So it's like Earth, I guess.
I say, is it not small? Because that's one of our words.
It's small for an eldritch horror.
Sun, small, quagmire. Great. Okay, perfect. We're on track.
How big is Cthulhu? I feel like Cthulhu's big, right? So maybe it's like half the size of a Cthulhu.
I'm going to have to go with you on that. I know Cthulhu is a tentacle.
Yeah, but I'm
and
pretty
he's in
sure
people's
it's
minds,
like
and that's basically
giant.
it.
It's like, it's big.
I thought so.
I thought,
And doesn't he appear to people? I don't know. Whatever. It is what we want to make of it.
He does.
Let's go. So,
okay, so
it's a small
It's a
Cthulhuan
small-
horror has been birthed out of the sun.
yes, and it's slowly floating towards
Right.
Earth, which means that we're kind of on like a we're on a doomsday clock, right? If Earth can't figure out how to deal with this eldritch horror, everybody dies. But there's a chance that somehow Earth figures out how to divert it or whatever, and it doesn't die. And we get that moral debate in our rom-com like people were like, the world is ending, nothing matters, I can finally do whatever I want, I'm gonna fall in love with this person or whatever, or I accidentally fall in love with this person, and they become the debate. It's like, do we just be like, fuck it, nothing matters, let's live the best life that we can? Or is it like, maybe we should keep one foot in reality because there's a chance that the world doesn't end, and if we go around like, I don't know, fucking in the street and burning houses down, then we're probably going to go to jail when they, figure out how to deal with this thing.
I feel like, because it's got to be a rom-com, right? I see this as being one of those movies where the trailer for it is like, Earth is doomed to die, thanks to a Cthulhuan creature hitting the planet in 24 days. But what if those 24 days was all you needed? Bling! And then it's like, meet Jerry. Jerry has a dead-end job, and his neighbor also. And then it's like a bucket list road trip or some shit. Like, I feel like it's got to be rom-com means.
Yes.
Silly situations, funny
no,
outcomes,
totally. But I think
characters.
what I'm saying is,
Okay.
I wanted some tension between the characters, right? Like in a rom-com, generally speaking, their lives are being pulled apart in different directions, and the thing that trumps all is love. You know what I mean? Like, someone's moving away or whatever. So I think it's like one of them's like, fuck it, let's live wild, and the other one's like, and then they have to.
I have two words.
Love has to trump. Yes.
Love will find a way. Love will find a way. Goldblum. Crazy good reference by me. Well done, Welsh. 2 words for you. Religious cult. Right? What if...
Is that their day jobs?
Either... Well, since
is that
this
his, like, corporate
Cthulhuan
day job?
horror... Well, it's more that, like, what would this do to the socio-climate, whatever, the crazy complicated words that I'm trying to say and listeners they'll figure it out. What's the world like when there's a essentially ancient horror god coming towards the planet? Would people not start to, like, praise it and try and get it to... Right? So
but
how
also,
about
like,
we
people
follow...
would try and kill it. They would try and do all kinds of things. Like, they're going to have an emergency response.
Yeah. So the choice that we have is we have one person from either side of the debate forced together on a road trip where they discover that they're not so different after all. Or it's literally two Cthulhuan, whatever the monster god's name is, believers trying to spread the good word of their Lord and Savior that's going to free their planet. And then we get, like, I don't know, there's something there about a fanatic.
The real journey was the love we made along the way.
Yeah, or maybe, like, the journey, they find that they don't want to give up their planet to this space horror god after all.
You know what it reminds me of?
I don't know.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is what it reminds me of. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's so good. That's the tone I see in my head for some reason.
Yeah.
But what I had a slightly alternative suggestion, which I don't think is as exciting, but I'm going to put it towards you anyway. If they did work a corporate job,
that's promising.
then I think she should be his boss. And it's like, oh my God, the world's ending. We can finally have this relationship because there's no HR in the way, because there's no world in the way.
Oh, okay. Well, how about instead of it being a boss, it's like, I don't know, an uncle and a niece?
No. Unless we're pitching it to Pornhub.
Step uncle.
Absolutely
and she's
not.
stuck in the car, stuck in the seatbelt. No. I'm just trying to think, like, I feel like boss and subordinate, it's been done to death. I feel like there could be another type of not questionable relationship, like familial, but there could be something in that about, like, these people would never normally spend time together or be, seen by society as acceptable to even hang out together, that now they are.
My question to you is, what is the message of this film that you're trying to get across?
That sounds like a you question to me, buddy.
It's not really territory I want to wander into. Let me put it that way.
It's safe to swim in the same gene pool if you I don't know. There's something
very
there.
British.
These are not disclaimer. Disclaimer, these are not my beliefs. I'm running with a joke. Do not at me, world. Damn it. It's your fault. You laughed at it, so now I'm running with
the cult. I think the cult is the right way to go.
Well, okay, so what about if it's a cult? What if it's a cult person that's been captured by, like, their neighbor, and they, like, you know what I mean? Their neighbor's... It's a forced journey. They're tied up, they're chucked in the car, and then it's like a lot of conversations throughout the movie that these two people of polar opposites start to see a balance and a connection.
What if it's like they've strived so hard to make this quote-unquote ritual happen, and it's like it's got nothing to do with, like, it's like coincidental that the sun births this Cthulhian monster.
Oh my god.
But the cult thinks that it's their, like, they've done it, and so it's kind of like, well, we've achieved our last mission, what do you want to do? And it's like, I don't know, I guess I'll go home and see my mum and dad. I haven't seen them in like 10 years. And it's like, well, I've got nothing else to do, I'm going to come with you. And it's like, no, you're not. It's like, yeah. No, I'm like, my parents died like 3 years ago. I got another, or like, or my sister lives in that town, maybe, or like she lives like 2 states across or whatever.
I feel like we could get the rom-com fact without them being polar opposites just fine if these are two psycho cult members of Cthulhu going on a bucket list journey, revisiting people from their lives they've abandoned on their way. So yeah, they're going to go see their... they're going to... Not even an apology to it. Just like, well, I've got nothing else to do. I can go back to what I left behind. And then it's like one of the cult people is going back to a family he abandoned and his wife and kids are there and they're crying. And he's got like blood smeared across his forehead and like patterns. And he's like, I'm home. We can be together again. They're like, what?
Yes, but I think that family should definitely be like remarried. And he just rocks up and is like, I'm here. And it's like, I have another family. It's like, no, you don't.
I see a dinner scene. Oh
my god, yes.
They're sitting there.
Be like, so you used to date this guy?
Cult side?
Yep. What happened?
Yeah, he used to be a CEO of a fast food chain. Now
like, what happened?
Now he's a cult.
Look at his face. That's what happened. Huh. Did you enjoy your time there? Yeah, it was great. It was really cool. We like wake up and do these rituals, and you know, it's really cool. You could just describe his day.
A lot of orgies.
Definitely a lot of
orgies. A lot of chicken blood. Mm-hmm. A lot of sacrificed animals. Yeah, because that'd be a fun scene as well, where they go to the table, and then they ask to do grace. And then they do, like, grace to Cthulhu, and then the other side of the table's like, okay, now our turn. And they say, like, normal grace, like, thank you, Lord, for the food.
We have to have a scene, I think that'd be really fun. Before. Because I think maybe, like, the other person comes as well. Because you have to bring, like, it would be the two cult members.
Yeah.
There, right? But, like, this cult member that's, like, a lot of blood, a lot of orgies, whatever. Like, the, well, are we saying it's a guy? Is it a guy or a girl? Like...
Don't think it matters yet. Just two characters. Okay. Do we need
the married one,
put labels on things, Murray? Yes, we're 10 minutes in.
We need characters.
No names, no genders. Just go.
Blob 1 and Blob 2. We need... Okay, so he's this person, right? This cult member is in the kitchen. And I think before we get to the whole like blood and orgies statement, they're really good at butchering animals because they've just spent like the past 10 years like ripping animals to pieces and sacrifices. So it's like, I'll help cook. And it's like, okay. And they just like kind of go into the backyard and I guess take a chicken or something and they just fucking like butcher this thing in the kitchen. Or that should be like really gross how they like rip or prepare the meat. And just like a really uncomfortable, like a butcher would. It'd
be hands and teeth is what it would be. Like they wouldn't use like knives and whatever else you'd use for butchering a piece of meat.
I think maybe
they'd be like ripping it.
I think maybe they do, but they like collect the blood and stuff. It's like, what's that for? It's like, you don't collect the blood? That's how you cook chicken.
They pour it in like wine glasses to cheers their family. There's like a bing. Because I can just see like that scene of them all at the table like, this is really metallic. How old is this wine? Like, oh, like 3 days. Like, what? It's like, well, it's chicken. It's the
blood wine.
Chicken pita or whatever. Yeah, it's blood wine. Blood wine. And then all the table like spitting it out. That's a scene in the trailer as well. Absolutely. Is that moment. All the kid.
So good. I love
Okay,
this.
so let's go that the two cult members in the cult, orgies happened, but romance was not a thing.
Yes.
So like orgies was a praise thing, right? So
yeah, it was mechanical.
Potentially they've been a part of
It's
this.
like a sacrifice.
Yeah. So maybe like romance isn't a thing, and you've based like again, like you said, Kimmy Schmidt. You've got like two Kimmys going on a road trip together, discovering like a love and affection for each other that they didn't think was possible being a part of this cult or even existed in the world. Are they going to go against their cult by the end of it?
Potentially.
Or is it just going to end with them being happy for the first time in a decade?
I think maybe something
Cthulhu
like
destroys the planet.
As he rocks up, yeah.
You know, like the end of Fight Club. Like the end of Fight Club, where, you know, they kiss and make up, they're holding hands, and then all the buildings start exploding around them. Like, it's not necessarily a happy ending. It's not a bad ending. It's just nothing changed or stopped.
I think for me, with kind of what we've established so far, I think the discovery of love would prohibit the return to the cult. Or any kind of cult-like ways, because it was like mechanical, there's no love, there's nothing, there's a sacrifice, this is just like... And then because they fall in love, that's kind of antithetical to the way the cult operates. And I think it will pull them out. They're not going to be normal people. They're going to be like deeply scarred or whatever. Or they're going to still have like cult-like tendencies. But I don't think they'll go back to the fold. I think it's like, we have each other now. It's the cult of you and me.
Ooh.
That's actually a good title.
That's very sweet. I like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've got. It's a working title at least. Okay. So are they being released from the cult because there's nothing to do until their lord arrives? That seems pretty loose. Or are they being sent out to spread the word that he is coming, and maybe that's why they go
this
through all their
cult's
family
entire job was like not to befriend him or anything. It was just to like get the Cthulian monster born, and it was born by coincidence.
Why?
Well, I think they just want to end the world. I think they just like, you know, there will be some kind of like selfish motivation, as with most cults, like burn the world to the ground, start anew or whatever. But they achieve their goal when it's born. The cult no longer has a goal. It's not about befriending this god, because God doesn't give a fuck. You can't befriend a god. Doesn't give two shits.
Okay. What if the leader panics? Like, what if it actually happens? We have a scene where it happens. The leader's like, "Oh my fucking god, we're all gonna die!" And like, just bolts.
I think that's it.
And then like the cult,
do you know what it
like,
is?
disperses.
Do you know what it? I think what it is I think this cult was like a sex cult that this guy was using to like have these orgies and stuff. And then this Cthulian monster gets born, and he's like, "Oh, fuck, was that us? Did I do that? I didn't want this. I don't want this. I don't want the world to end. I just want to keep like fucking people." You know, like, and then freaks out, and so the cult disintegrates, and they're like, "What do we do now?" I don't know.
Putting it out there, we've cast him many times before. Steve Buscemi would be a great cult leader in that moment. I can see him being like, "Oh God, like, no, well, I'm out. Thanks everybody. Thanks to the parties." I think that's great. And then we've got these two cultists that basically are left to figure out what their lives mean anymore. So it's a journey of self-discovery. It's maybe that's why they're going through a bucket list of all the people that they'd left behind to see if there's anything left there or something like that. And that's why they're doing this massive trip around the country.
It also kind of reminds me of Kevin Smith as well. Like I could see this in the vein of like a Clerks 2 or like something like Jay and Silent Bob's. Like it feels like it's that kind of comedy as well.
Okay. Did you ever watch Stranger Than Fiction?
The one
with Will Ferrell and Emma Thompson?
Yes. I think when it first came out.
I feel like that sort of style as well, where it's not bleak, but it's very, I don't know what the word would be for it. It's very plain. Like there's not too much, like I don't see very much scores happening throughout this and dramatic set pieces or anything like that.
I think it's just
and potentially
dumb.
It's a rom-com. Maybe it's like a rom-com like Napoleon Dynamite, you could argue, was a romantic comedy with him in that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's something... You know what I mean? So it's really
I mean, that's why
quite
something
odd.
like Clerks comes to my mind. That scene where he's holding the onion ring. He's like, "One ring to rule them all."
How hard are we got to lean into this being a romantic comedy, though? Because again, I said up front, a rom-com is one of those cheesy 2000s trailers.
But can all stuff.
How can we do that both ways?
We can do that both ways. Rom-com is the genre. It's the structure. you are like married to it.
Oh, I guess so. Like 500 Days of Summer is a rom-com, and that's not okay.
Like,
yeah, okay.
It just means
Jersey
that
Girl?
at its core, it's a romantic comedy, which means that it's a comedy about romantic themes. It doesn't mean that it has to like follow a specific, like it's not Sleepless in Seattle or whatever. It's about a fucking Cthulhian monster that's going to end the world. And, you know, like I think lots of people do rom-coms in really weird and interesting ways.
I just needed that reassurance from
Absolutely,
you, buddy, because I was like,
no, you can go stupid and as ham and as over the top as you want, so long as it's about two people falling in love.
2 minutes left on this wheel spin. Is there anything else we want to polish off? So we've got that the movie. I feel like the movie needs to literally start with Cthulhu coming, like that being announced, the cult leader panicking. I think it starts, and it's a straight chronological.
I think it actually starts with the cult and their life, and then the Cthulhian monster's born, and then the cult leader's like, okay. And that's the inciting incident, is him being like, quick, everybody have sex. And they're like, wait, why? Because it's been born. And he's like, and then like freaks out and leaves. And
I can see that happening before the titles pop up as well, where like everybody leaves. It's just our two characters left.
They're like,
well,
they're in
the
car park.
Bang.
I think they're like in the car park as the cars like tear out. And it's just, exactly that. The cult of you and I.
They're sitting in a car and then the title comes in. Great. Okay. So, and then ending wise, are we leaning towards any type of ending yet to this, other than those two being happy
maybe they can
Cthulhu
see the kind of Cthulhian monster,
descend?
coming, and they're just like arm in arm and whatever, and it's like, huh. You know, it's like, I really wish I did
it's
this
a world
earlier,
they invited.
or whatever, like.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Like, that would have been nice.
Yeah. Or like, do you ever wonder what would happen if, we hadn't met in the cult? I'm like, no, but I'm glad we did. And they hold arms, and then that's it. It's like a little soft, sweet
as this
moment
giant monster, it should be screaming as it descends.
Yes.
Like a million tentacles.
Yeah, and it's almost like a nuke going off in the distance, where as it's looming on the horizon, you see like a ripple shockwave of buildings like flying apart. And would he have like other horrors descending with him,
probably,
like little bat
millions
things and
of
stuff?
little plague things. It's coming like a locust plague.
I also really like that. I really like that this sets up like a massively horrific like landscape to explore and have stories in, but we don't go there.
Yeah, 100%. And like really awesome design. I think this Cthulhian monster looks incredible. Like that's where like a quarter of the budget's going. It's designing this monster.
Well, fuck. 20 minutes to go with our next wheel spin. The main character gets abducted by aliens.
Oh well, we're there.
Are we?
Are we not? We have a giant. This movie is about a giant alien descending to Earth. So one of its Ford Scouts just that's what it literally is about.
That does not. The main character needs to be abducted by aliens, Murray.
Yes.
And I feel like the crux of the plot of this movie should be around a main character getting abducted by aliens, and maybe it's a romantic comedy in that the leftover cultist is not okay with that. Maybe the cult happens and people start to get ascending, by Cthulhian alien whatever. Maybe it's aliens and not Cthulhu.
Here's my
God damn it. God damn our wheel.
Here is my suggestion. The Cthulhian monster wants to be born, but for I don't know, cult-like or sci-fi shenanigans, it needs an avatar to do. So the people who get captured are these two cult people, get captured by these Cthulhian-ish alien thingies, and are like, fall in love now. You must fall in love and make us an avatar because we need this monster. So make an avatar. And they're like, no, I don't want to. I don't like this person.
Oh, that's it. That's the end of that thought process.
That's the end of that thought.
I was strapped on for so much more information to come my way from you.
That's what it's.
That did not help.
Okay. Then what if the story is them escaping from these monsters who want them to breed an avatar, and they start falling in love with each other, and they know that if they fall in love with each other and have a life together, there's a chance that one of them, like they might end up having children, and if they ever have children, that will be the end of the world because this Cthulian thing is primed to take over their baby.
I have one thing to say.
Is that no?
That is our 3 words. That is our 3 words of Small Sun and Quagmire, which absolutely fell by the wayside.
We got Small and Sun. I don't know about the Quagmire though.
Quagmire. So what's the Okay, all right. So what if this is the 2 random cultists are abducted by aliens to create the avatar for Cthulhu to be born, and the sun is shrinking, and like you said, it hatched from the sun, but when it gets to the planet, it needs to like be, contained within an avatar. Like, we can roll all that in, and maybe the quagmire they face is when they get back to Earth after being abducted. It is the feelings they have for each other from being connected together, and they're going on a trip to try and like figure out what the hell they do. Should they... No, I'm not going to say it. Okay, cool. Not the time or place for a joke like that. Let's rewind. Should they have this child and raise it as their own, or should they have this child and give it to Cthulhu? Maybe that's what their quagmire is, where they start to feel more connected to each other and the prospect of having a family.
In order for that to work, they both have to be
why.
like pro the end of the world.
Well, I think they were, and they were abducted by the aliens that are bringing the coming of Cthulhu.
And they were like,
and
we'd
through
actually
that shared experience, they've been dropped back off on Earth, and they're like, what the hell do we do now? Like, this isn't what we thought was going to happen. They were welcoming the return of Cthulhu or whatever. That's what they were doing, and they've just been abducted and had this forced upon them, which is not what they'd signed up for to start with, and it's made them a bit disillusioned with the cult. I don't know, and then maybe that's why they're going around. Maybe there's a time skip between them getting abducted and coming back, and all the old cult people have just gone on about their normal lives, so they're trying to reconnect with people who have just made a normal life for themselves and realizing what they could have had, and that's their quagmire, their conundrum they've got to deal with. I don't know. I'm scrambling because it's 15 fucking minutes to go.
Okay. I think the first story that we had is the right way to go, and that's the bones, and we stay with that. And I think the only thing that changes, instead of it being like, oh my god, this thing is like born, the cult is over. I think during one of their rituals, like they are like doing a sexual sacrifice, and the aliens abduct them because they're like, we want your DNA or whatever, or we need like a host or something. And then they create the avatar out of them. Like, they literally just, like, DNA scan them or whatever and then build a body for this Cthulian horror. And then they just get yeeted out, like you said, like, 5 years later, they just get thrown out into the world. And the cult has all kind of moved on and disassembled. And they know that the end of the world is coming, but nobody else knows that the end of the world is coming. And they're like, what do we do now? And it's like, I don't know, I guess I'll go spend some time with my family, and it's back to the original story. It's like, well, we know that this thing is coming in however long it takes them to build a body, undetermined amount of time. What do we do with our lives? It's like, well, I think we make the best that we can, or whatever. It's like, I don't know, let's go see your family, and then they fall in love along the way. So same story.
Okay.
I think it's just a different cold opening.
You know what? And I guess that's just it. Like, the main character getting abducted by aliens, I wouldn't read that the movie has to feature that too heavily and be about him running around in a fucking spaceship and trying to escape. The main characters have been abducted by aliens at the start of this movie. Move on.
And, you know what? It doesn't even need to be about creating an avatar. Maybe they get abducted by the aliens because the aliens are like, spread the word. This Cthulian monster is coming. And then they get back and they're like, I don't want to do that. It's like they chose the wrong messengers. Like, I don't actually want to spread the word. And then maybe that's the central argument. It's like, should we spread the word? Like, should Earth know so that they can prepare and defend themselves against this thing? And it's like, who gives a fuck, man? It's like, no, this is important.
We pivot. The cult leader isn't the one doing this just for the sex parties. These are 2, like, dropout individuals that just joined this cult because they thought it would be a laugh to drink, fuck, sacrifice animals.
Yeah, they're lying. They're like lying about it just so they can do this, have the sex.
They're the ones that have been abducted as the chosen ones. So now they're brought back and they're like, what the hell? Like, I don't want this. This was my gap year.
This wasn't
before
meant to
I
be
continued
real.
my uni studies.
It's like,
This
and
is
then
a
the cult leader's
holiday,
like, no,
yeah.
nothing's real. And it's like, dude, I just saw an alien. Like, it's like, no, you didn't. You were taking drugs
like
last
that.
night. It's
I
like,
kinda
no,
like
this is not the drugs, man.
Okay.
I saw the face of God, and I'm scared.
So they don't have to give birth to Cthulhu or anything like that. They are just abducted to be shown the truth that Cthulhu is on their way. So does the planet not know that Cthulhu's on his way then?
I don't
like
think they
just know
anymore.
the sun
yeah,
is
I think
shrinking.
they're meant to be like the prophets of God.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Yeah, cool.
And
They've
they're both
been
just
selected
like-
as prophets of Cthulhu.
No, I don't care. I think one of them cares and one doesn't. I think one is like, we should tell the world because the world needs to defend itself, and the other one's like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I just want to like go home to my family and tell them that I love them or whatever.
I also really like this, that these two characters they wouldn't have necessarily been close before any of this. They're just in the cult.
Yeah.
They don't have to be connected before this happens together to connect them.
No, I think they were in the
maybe
cult
when they
for the
get
same
back,
reason.
they can't stand each other. They're in the cult for the same reason, yeah, but they didn't really know each other as a part of the cult.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there was no real connection there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now they've
100%.
been thrust back upon our world to deliver the message of Cthulhu to a planet that doesn't believe anymore, and they question, what is the point of anything? Should we even bother doing this? Why are we alive? Why are we here?
I think we go with
That's
your
their
idea that
quagmire.
they're young, and so they're not going back to like the married family that they left behind. I think they're going back to like their parents, and
Parents and friends and cult members.
I think we still have the dinner scene. I think we still have the butchering scene and stuff, and be like, so what was it like? It was like, we saw God, we saw this alien. It's like, shut the fuck up, man! Don't say that to my parents. It's like, no, we did. We got transported to the middle of the sun and we saw it. And the parents like, are you okay? Like, no, I'm trying to tell you this is real. This is real, and everybody's going to die.
The sun is an
It's
egg.
like, dude, calm down. Stop trying to scare my
The
parents.
sun is an egg. That's actually great. Okay, I like that. So the reason the sun's gotten smaller is because it's birthed Cthulhu, which was dormant inside it the whole time. So does the planet know that anything is approaching them, or the sun is just shrinking?
I don't know if the sun shrinks, but I think there's like some weird solar.
Has to for our.
No, we never locked in that the sun officially shrunk. I will die on that hill.
Okay.
And we said that the sun was
you
dying.
died.
Not necessarily that it shrunk, because if it shrunk, this thing can't be small. This thing would be like 100 times the size of planet Earth to make it. Like, it would have to be like 1,000. Like, the sun is like millions of times. I don't know. That's not accurate, but it's giant compared to the sun, right? So for this thing to make a dent on the size of the planet, it would need to be like hundreds of times bigger than planet Earth. Like, do you know what I mean?
I'm just really looking forward to listening back on this episode and seeing if we did establish that the sun was getting smaller or not.
No, I don't think
99%
we
sure
never
we
locked
did.
it in. We said the sun was dying.
We didn't lock it in, but we talked about it. That was the bones. All right. So, sun, all we're using for the sun is that Cthulhu is in it and he's born of the sun.
Yeah, and some kind of
That's it.
weird fluctuations that would like support this.
Solar flares, great. Small, you're just saying Cthulhu is small. Is that it? Is that all we're using that word for?
No, there's another way we can get this in. There's another way we can get this in.
You got 9 minutes to do so.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Just putting that out there that's there. And Quagmire is just the couple, the forced couple figuring out what the hell they do with the little life they have left on this planet. Because they know.
Yeah,
that
I
it's
think they're
ended,
gonna like
and
go
nobody
home and
else
they're gonna
does.
find purpose. I don't think the like going home is the. I think what we were missing in the previous story that I think we're missing in this one is we need like an overarching goal that they're driving towards. Yeah. And if it
Which
is
what?
like get home to my
Come on.
family, then that's what the entire movie is about. But I don't think it is.
No. I think it's about finding out what they... I think it's truly a journey of self-discovery. It's like they have been a part of this cult for years. They abandoned all their earthly possessions and connections to be a part of that cult. Now they've been dumped off, told everything that they faked belief in is real. Now what? And I think that's all the plot has to be for these two characters.
Then I think it has to be about
means.
like trying new things and exploring new things. Like, for example, right, White Castle, is that what I think that's what it's called? White Castle?
Harold and Kumar go to
Harold
White
and
Castle?
Kumar go to White Castle. It's about going to White Castle.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of like adventures and shenanigans happen along the way. But the overarching goal of the movie is to get to White Castle. And that's what I'm saying. I think maybe we need a White Castle.
Okay. Maybe they're just trying to reconnect to the cult. They're back on Earth, like the other side of America to where the cult is. So they're going on a road trip at the end of the world that only they know is the end of the world. And along the way, they're going to interact with people from their past, kooky characters, maybe other people like that end up believing in it.
Trying to find the leader to be like, everything was real. Everything you said was real. We didn't just like sneak out at night. We saw this Cthulhian monster.
We were abducted.
Like, I've seen the face of God. It's scary. I need you to restart the cult and convince the government that it's real.
Do you know what would be fun as well is if they believe it wholeheartedly the whole way through, then get told by the leader that he made everything up, you weren't abducted, none of that happened, and then they sort of have to question what any of this was about and what happened to them, and then they believe it, and they're like, nope, we are doing the right thing, we're on the right path. So when Cthulhu does start crashing down from the sky, they're like the old... I can see them stood at like a festival or like a mall or something, and everybody's screaming and panicking and running around them and crying, and cars are crashing, and they just like stood smiling, looking up, holding hands.
I was right.
Like that's kind of how I see the end of this. Yeah,
I think it should come at the worst time. I
think
they get on with their lives a little bit, and they're like, did we? I think we were right. I think the world is going to end or whatever, and then it takes really like maybe 3 or 4 years to rock up, and then they're like, fuck it, like finally our life is great, and then they look up into the sky and like, no, god damn it.
I like that. And perhaps all the way through their journey, they sort of like encounter what a normal life would be like, and it's really like just a bad taste in their mouth. Like, I don't want to have to mow a lawn. We have to mow a lawn and have a white picket fence.
Yeah,
like,
I think they try all of that like normal stuff, because I think maybe they stop at like friends, like high school friends' houses and stuff along the way, and that's where you get your dinner scene. It's actually like going to a high school friend's. It's like, he was my best friend in high school, honey. Like just like you. Just get through the night. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not friends anymore.
They're on a road trip. They need a couch to crash on. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then they wake up and like the household cat and dog has been strung up and like bled
That's
into
so
buckets.
bleak. I was gonna say more like they they go out into the forest and collect bones and make them like a little charm.
Oh, okay. Well, that works. I feel like that's more of a rom-com.
Yeah, rather than like murdering your friends, domesticated. But that's like a member of their family.
Okay, yeah, that's really dark. I didn't want it to happen. I just felt like the story was going that way.
Well, like,
okay, cool. You
like
got 5
they
minutes
go out into the
before we need
forest
to
and they
wrap
kill
it
a
all
bird
up.
and a rabbit, and they stitch the rabbit's head onto the bird's body, and they're like, "I made you a gift." And it's like, "Get out of my house!" I'm like,
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They give it to the kid of the house, and they think it's like a stuffed animal. And then as he holds it for a second, it starts to move and squawk and run around, like they've somehow done it in a way that it's still alive. Oh, that'd be great. That'd be so good.
Get out of my house.
4 minutes,
Understood.
30 seconds for you to bounce any other ideas off me, my friend, before you have to present a movie to our listeners, a fully fledged movie. What else do you want? Obviously, Jerry.
names.
Jerry's the cult leader.
Okay.
Jerry's the cult leader.
Yeah. Who are our
right?
two main
Like, not a
characters?
character.
Who are our main characters?
Max and
Penny.
Jackie.
Okay.
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
Max and Jacqueline.
Max Jack.
Sure, Max and Jack, but it's actually Maximilian is his name, and Jackie Liam is her name. I don't know. Cult names.
Great.
Do they have cult names? Do we have cult names for them that are different?
Just
and
like-
maybe this is part of their journey together, is
Illegible
finding out their own
Cthulhian
names.
noises.
So, what's your name? Oh, my name is.
And your name? Okay. Take a seat.
Okay, cool. There's your names.
I think that's the first incident that happens. Is they're like in a DMV or something like that. Like they're in like some kind of public service place, or even just like, you know what, any kind of service. Like they're at McDonald's, and it's like, I need a name for that. It's like,
Yep.
And then they look down.
Totally fine with that.
The person's name is Jackie, and they're like, Jackie. Okay.
I like that we're getting a romantic comedy between two like brainwashed, manipulated and depraved minds in a way. Yes. Like they are so stunted in what they see the world to be like, so they're gonna be like almost like aliens walking through all these sets. Definitely, you know what I mean? I think that's hilarious.
I think Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle is kind of like a good structure to peg to. Like I think all of these like truly fantastical things happen to them that they never asked for. You know, like whether it's like embroiled in like a government secret, like some weirdo agent, or like, you know what I mean? Like these fantastic and weird stories happen along the way.
We've got 2 minutes. Let's throw out a bunch of different scenarios we want them to go through for you to figure out in the final 5 where you put it together. So yes, I think there should be a government agent on their tail. I think they should be getting followed by, like, not interacting with them until a certain point, though. Okay. I think that'd be really fun to have like an FBI
government
agent
or like a tinfoil conspirator pretending to be a government agent.
That looks like a government agent.
Yeah, but it's
actually a tinfoil hat wearing motherfucker. Yeah, okay, cool. So tinfoil hat government agent. We need to a restaurant or fast food chain. Their car needs to break down, and then they need to be taken in by like a family farm.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it turns out they're Christian. They're like super religious.
Okay.
And when they walk in, they're like, "Oh, you believe in our Lord and Savior as well?" And the family's like, "Of course we do. Like, we found the people. We found our cult."
Oh my God,
whoa, it's not a cult.
No, I think
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I think the language is like close enough to be like, you know, the second coming,
really
the second coming of the prophet is upon us. It's like, the second coming is absolutely like.
Yeah. We've met and spoke to our God, and like, so have all of we. Every Sunday, there's a building you can go and converse with him. Like,
it's everyone's God. You're right. You know, I'm so sorry. It is everybody's God. Everybody's God.
He is a God to everyone. Yeah. Perfect. So that, we need to have like an awkward romance scene between the two of them where they don't know it's romance. Maybe a dance or a kiss. There needs to be something that happens to them where they don't piece together.
Should it be like
you've got a minute?
I don't know why. This is definitely American. I was thinking like.
Oh yes,
like,
American.
Maybe Texasy, like a hoedown or something. Like they rock up there,
dance.
Line dance. They have to be like, they have to figure out what it is.
Line dance, karaoke, something like that. They need to be drinking alcohol with somebody at one point. Maybe some frat boys meet up with them on their trip and go drinking with them, and they can just knock them back.
There should
like
be
it's nothing.
some kind of like sexual tension moment, I think, between them, where they like genuinely want to sleep with each other, but then they're like, we don't want to do more sacrifices to this god to make him more powerful, so maybe we just shouldn't touch each other. Like, how do we? And then it's kind of like that weird, like,
wait. We'll do it under the quilt. Yeah. He can never see then.
If we don't move, if we just soak, he won't see us.
We soak. I love the idea of them discovering that they can have sex without Cthulhu being aware of it and trying to explain that to somebody in the movie. To be like, yeah,
he's always
do you know you can do this?
He's always
I think there'll be a lot of fun like that. Murray, I love to do this to you.
God,
but we're at that point in the show where you have a 5-minute timer to pitch the listeners on what this movie ended up being, because we've obviously spiraled hardcore since the first 3 words. So
I'm so glad that we have the title before I start. This is a godsend that I've never experienced.
All right, I'm pushing start on the timer in 3, 2, 1. Your 5 minutes are now.
Okay, so this is The Cult of You and I, which is a romantic comedy set in a Cthulian nightmare. And it begins with this sex cult run by a cult leader played by Steve Buscemi, who created this entire kind of Cthulian-esque cult just so that he could have massive orgies every night. And then during one of the orgies, the 2 main characters, I think it was, and who later become known as Max and Jackie, 2 like college dropout lowlives who joined this cult because they had nothing better to do, and much like the leader, just wanted to have massive orgies every night and thought this would be more effective than starting a frat. So during one of these rituals, they get abducted by the actual god of this ritual, this kind of giant Cthulian monster, although he's small for Cthulian monsters.
He's small, and he's alien too.
He's alien, who's currently incubating inside of the sun.
Nice.
And they kind of get brought to this weird, horrible nightmare inside the sun. This little protected egg inside it. And the god is like, I'm coming, spread the word. All of Earth must be prepared for my arrival. And then they get thrown back. But because of the way that the kind of Cthulhian magic works, they get thrown back 5 years into the future. And the entire cult has been disbanded. And they rock up there. And they have to kind of put their lives back together because, like, the main thing that they wanted to do was, like, this sex cult, and they didn't have any other plans. So now they have to figure out what the fuck life means now that the end of the world is coming. So they go on this giant road trip from one side of America to the other side of America to restart the cult. They want to try and re-find the cult leader, restart the cult because they kind of need... One, they need purpose, and this is the only purpose they understand. And two, the world is ending, and they kind of need to let everybody know that the world is ending so that they can be ready for this Cthulhian monster when it rocks up. And along the way, they kind of discover the power of love. Accidentally and unintentionally, they fall in love with each other, which is completely and utterly against everything that they've been taught to believe in, Cthulhian cult-wise, the end of the world, everything. And they kind of go on like a series of like unfortunate events and like truly ludicrous, out of this world kind of things that happen to them unintentionally now that they're kind of embroiled in this kind of larger conspiracy. And those things are things like a conspiracy theorist pretending to be a government agent follows them for like 3/4 of the movie until it reveals that he's a fraud and he just like wanted to feel special, and then he discovers that the world is ending and he actually discovers his truth, and it's kind of a bit of a nightmare for him. The first thing that they do is go to like a fast food joint and try to order with their cult names, and no one understands them, and so then they have to come up with these new names along the way. Their car breaks down. They end up in a like super Christian ranch, and they kind of have this like miscommunication about our Lord and Savior, and the Christians are like, yes, our Lord and Savior, and they have this like kind of like until while they're fixing their car. And then it is accidentally revealed kind of towards the end that they are like Cthulhian cult believers, and the Christians are like shocked and truly upset at what they do. They end up at a friend's house. They do some weird cult shit to them. They have this really awkward dinner scene where they butcher an animal in the kitchen in like the most horrible way because they thought that it would be a nice gift. And then they have this like really awkward dinner conversation with their face tats and all this kind of stuff. And basically they go on this journey. They find the cult leader. They try and convince the cult leader. The cult leader's like, no, I made it up. And they're like, no, you didn't. You did not make it up. It is all real. It has to be real because all this other shit has subsequently happened to me. And if it's not real, I'll lose my fucking mind. And then they kind of have to
30 seconds.
They have to deal with that. They have to reconcile with that. The cult leader convinces them that it is not real, but they ultimately believe, fuck him, it is real. They try and spread the word. They fail. They get on with their ordinary lives. And right as their lives become something beautiful with meaning, he rocks up and ends the world.
10 seconds.
That
He's satisfied.
is the cult of you and I.
You did it in less than 5 minutes to summarize, and I can't believe it. I was watching that timer tick down the whole way, freaking out. Oh my god. I love that you threw in the power of love, because now I can hear Huey Lewis in the news playing as they're doing their road trip. Maybe their car's busted, so every time they get into the car,
it's just
that
like
song
one
starts.
cassette that's plugged in.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. I
Wow.
love the title, The Cult of You and I. It's so good.
Thanks for letting us take you on a journey. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Scripty Business for all our updates, and let us know what you thought of this week's episode. You can also follow us ourselves at Murray vs. the World and at SA Welshie to see what we're up to. Join the Patreon for access to bonus content and to unlock all previous seasons. Head to patreon.com/ScriptyBusinessPodcast today. We appreciate your help with us keeping the lights on and the cameras rolling, and we've got some extra surprises in store, so watch this space as we grow. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode. Until then, stay awesome. We love you. Scripty Business is a Soul Hole production, hosted by the P Zinner Network. You've been listening to Murray Curtis and Luke Wilkinson Turner.